Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Vosteed and Lefty EDC, or Divo knives. I always go back and forth there, but it's Divo knives, but that's Lefty EDC. This is the Nip L. based on the original smaller Nip, and cleverly named the Nip L, which they have surely had a lot of fun with. This is an excellent knife. I've actually been EDCing this pretty regularly. In fact, it will probably show up in the next, most carried knives video. I've only had this for a few days, but this is just fun, and the edge geometry is really good, and I find myself reaching for it and putting it in my pocket, and I don't see that changing at least over the next, few days, possibly the next few weeks. But a really good knife. No surprise that Divo and Vosteed could come together and do something amazing. Thanks so much to Vosteed for sending this in. This is still available. I'll link it down in the description. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me, and make sure your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. The overall length is coming in at about 7.5 inches. Blade length is coming in at 3.35, and your cutting edge is coming in at 3 inches. We're going to do some size comparisons. Any custom scales you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and Others. Up against my full-size and compact Excalibur, you can see that this is about the same, it's exactly the same overall length as compact Excalibur. It's just a lot taller. It has very similar ergonomic zones, so I'm a big fan of that. Let's put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue, doing things a little out of order today. It's closer to the length of the Deca. Did I mention that? This is the Hogue Deca. But it's got that height of the Ritter Hogue. And then finally, we'll put it up against the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3, just a 1/4 inch longer than the Para 3. How is the action? This is a button-operated top liner lock, and the action is superb. This manipulates, one of my favorite carry knives is the Sage 6. Obviously, I'm a big fan of compression locks, and Vosteed's button-operated top liner lock does not compress itself between the stop pin and the lock face of the blade, but it does engage with the lock face behind the blade, making it more secure than a liner lock. It's also safer. So more reliable, safer, and it also has that additional fidget factor with the button being there. I really like that. You get the benefit of actually having a detent ball when you break the detent, so everything feels very crisp. Whether you want to reverse flick it, you want to thumb flick it, maybe you want to just use the button, right? Maybe you want to do like the Spidey drop, whatever you want to do. It's great. I have no issues. The action is awesome. The access to the opening trapezoid is great. It doesn't need to be moved. The edges are nice. I mean, there's really nothing to complain about in terms of action. It's also like really smooth. So carry profile, thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3, maybe a hair thicker, just a little bit. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. I'm not sure why we're whispering, but sometimes we whisper. The amount of room that it takes up in the pocket is not a whole lot more than the Para 3. It's just heavier because it's in titanium. Let's weigh it. What are we looking at for materials? Titanium with a titanium backspacer and pocket clip, and then Elmax for the blade steel. Not super thick, but also not like credit card thin. 4.3 ounces of weight, so not perfect ratios, but not what I'd call a heavy knife. Your balance is going to be, a little bit back from the pivot, right? Balance is not something that's incredibly important to me, but I know some people like to see. So your balance is honestly right where you're going to have your index finger. It's not bad. 4.3 ounce knife in full titanium. Can't complain there. Let's measure the blade stock thickness real quick. Blade stock thickness coming in at 136 or so thousandths, so middle of the road. Let's move on into meat and potatoes here. This is a good looking knife. It's not a profile that we've never seen before. It's certainly not a blade shape we've never seen before, but it's a combination of a lot of things that just really works. The jimping is nice. It honestly could have been a little deeper, but it's fine. Finger choil is great. My favorite thing about this knife is the utility style blade shape. Obviously we have, I'm going to call that a Warncliffe, right? but it is crazy thin behind the edge. This is such a ready to go, ready to slice, right? And it's got that, because it has the tip that points down. You still have a little bit of a tip, but I like these blades for EDC because they're so good at draw cuts and shaping cuts and things like that. This is an LMAX blade. Vosteed heat treats their LMAX to, it says 60 plus or minus 1, so the range is 59 to 61, which is within range as LMAX, within range of optimal LMAX HRC. Some people will say it needs to be 60 plus. I don't think the heat treatment protocols are quite as strict as like M390, so I think you can get, decent edge retention out of LMAX at 59. Though I'll admit, seeing a lot of LMAX be heat treated over 60 or even 61 to 62, I kind of wish that Vosteed would bump it up a little bit, just because LMAX is a really good steel. I mean, I would put LMAX in my top 10 favorite steels. That's what we use on Excalibur. To my knowledge, we hit that on, Sergio hits that. I say we, like I'm doing anything that. Sergio hits that at 60 plus. Like 60 to 62, and it seems to do really, really well there. So I'm not going to come down and say that F59 is bad for LMAX. Like I said, I think that it's different than M390 and still benefits, given it has a different multi-directional teeter-totter. I think that's really going to come down to just like a lot of blade steel HRC does, but this is really going to come down to individual preferences and opinions. That's kind of what I think. I wish they were just 1 point higher, but okay. The stonewash on this one looks really great. It does come in a number of different, like anodizing combinations. I think it'd be really cool if they did a version of this in 154 cm and aluminum. I think that it would translate really well, and you could get the price down into like the $130 range, which would be very appealing to a lot of people. I love the swedge, like the wraparound swedge here on, I guess, the nose, or the nose bridge of the blade, whatever you guys want to call that, the snout of the blade. It looks good. Aggressive looking blade without looking too over the top or too tactical. We've got a little bit of milling here, which does add a little bit of traction. Not much. You're not naturally depending on those zones for, lock-in. It's more so just the forward choil and the natural curvature of the handle, which not much back here. So to really be locked in, you want to be in that index finger position. Everything is nicely knocked down everywhere, and this is a hollow grind. It's very, very thin. At the edge, look at that. It's aggressively thin. It says LMAX right there. Is it straight? I think it was just my eyes. I thought it wasn't straight there for a second. Your actual interaction zone for the stop pin is, boy, it must be, what is stopping the blade here? Is that it? Yeah, it is. So you can see here, we're stopping way before we get anywhere near the plunge grind there. And I think you can actually see, can we see the actual impact mark? Not really. That's the only thing that could possibly be stopping it. And you can kind of see right there. I don't know. Maybe it is actually one of these. It's either this one or this one, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is that it's a long ways away from the plunge grind. Like, I don't want to see it like up here, right? Personally, I don't care, because I'm never going to sharpen. I mean, I own too many knives, right? But for somebody who's going to carry this and exclusively this, or this and a couple of other things, and they're going to be repeatedly sharpening it over years and years and years, eventually that will create a problem. So the fact that they have kept the stop pin engagement way back here means that you essentially will never have a problem unless you somehow live to be like 300 years old. I'm kidding. Unless you somehow live to be like over 100 years old and you sharpen this regularly. At that point, you'll just run out of blade. It'll never actually be a problem with the stop pin. You'll literally just run out of blade to sharpen, which is, that's finite universe. That's the problem with every knife, right? Okay, anyways. We have backspacer with a little bit of jimping there. Sticks up just a little bit. I think that's nice. Pocket clip is fine. It's kind of, it's a little bit of up and over, but honestly, in and out of the pocket, it's pretty smooth. It's just kind of a tall clip. Like, I feel it. I think they probably could have done a more shallow nub underneath the clip. I might be mistaken, but I believe they mentioned something about a left-handed version of this. So whether that is available right now or it's something they plan to release in the future, I don't know. But at first I kind of criticized this for not having a left-handed pocket clip option, and then I think I remember seeing something about it. So I'll let you guys take a look at the website. But as far as your pocket clip, the way that it connects there, it's going to be a hidden pocket clip screw. I just realized we didn't actually do the hardware check. I love that there's no, all the hardware on the show side is hidden, and the only accessible hardware is on the other side. So now, there it is. My stubby driver was lost. I'll get out my tools. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description. It talks about the tools I use in this channel. I love minimal effort, in terms of like how knives disassemble. I love it when it's very minimal in terms of hardware. This is one T8 pivot and two T8 screws, and you are in, because those thread through to the other side, which I personally have never found to be a problem. I like it. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. We have no shouldering, but a good size stop pin, and no shouldering required either. Obviously runs on bearings. There's no blade play up, down, left, or right. There's a little tiny bit of like button, it's the liner stick, but not bad. Not something that, a normal person can't easily overcome just by pushing the button. And honestly, it's only periodic. Like right here, we've gone 3 in a row, no stick. 4 in a row, no stick. Maybe slightly more there. Seems to be working itself out as it goes. No pivot lash, very smooth and consistent in here. And a nice medium strength detent with perfect centering and no detent lash. Final price tag, combination of titanium and L-Max, all titanium. The extra hardware like the pocket clip and backspacer, right? And then we have a two-party collaboration with a final price tag here of $259. I can't complain about this at all. That's what I've priced my own two-party collaboration knife as. It's got a similar locking system. It's got the exact same materials. I mean, I can't be mad about this. I think Lefty EDC did a great job. I think Vosteed always does a good job. Wish the HRC range was a little higher. Wish the jimping was a little bit deeper. Wish the pocket clip was a little more shallow. But all in all, like if I was going to letter grade this knife, I'd still give it an A. This is a really good knife. Highly recommendable. It'll go in my most recommended knives playlist. So make sure and check that out. Links for this down in the description for you guys to utilize if you want to. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.